let's begin. Welcome back. We're continuing our chill pagan run, so to speak. Two things I wanted to talk about before we get too far into it. First is I've kind of done this Sweden start a couple of times, and I've often found that if you're not lucky enough to have your first king live as long as ours did, he may die before you can reform the religion. And if he dies really early, you might as well just restart. But if he dies and you've kind of like conquered like de jure Sweden, maybe you have a couple extra vassals, with your next king, Ragnar, since you are, a pagan, elective gavel kind, you have a once in a lifetime, subjugation casus belli. And so if you die early enough, if you die late enough that you have a sizable army that you can raise, but early enough that Saxony hasn't been attacked by the Franks yet, then I would suggest using your once-in-a-lifetime casus belli to subjugate Saxony, assuming you have a large enough army to do so and you think you have a chance of victory. That way you get a free kingdom title, so you don't have to buy one. You save some money. And also kind of puts you in a good position to kind of, gives you a kingdom title, so I doubt that, the petty king of Saarland will have, created a kingdom title, so you can just subjugate him through forced vassalization. And the good thing about that is that, the Franks won't have a chance to conquer one of your holy sites, and they won't have a chance to burn down Irminsul, so you have to raid less to get that moral authority to 50. You only have to burn down 4 churches, I think, or 5, give or take. The bad news is that all the piety your last king gained by doing those subjugation casus bellis, it's lost. So in order to kind of juice up your piety, what you have to do is, there'll be a bunch of, 1 or 2 province, 1 or 2 county, counts out there. And you just want to do county conquests on them, and you can, start heading in this direction too, no one too big. And what you want to do is you want to defeat them, but you don't want to call in any of your subjects. You want to do it by yourself, because you get piety based on your war contribution up to 50 piety. So if you take out 5. So, it would take you, so at the most it would take you is 15 county conquests on 1 county area. So, your main limiting factor is just going to be the money you have to stay at war, because, they won't really be calling anybody in, and you'll be much bigger than them army-wise. And it won't even take you that many, because you'll be passively gaining piety just every month, because that's what you naturally do. So, that's something you can do. The other thing I wanted to point out is that we're attacking the Holy Roman Empire, or Francia, whatever it is at the time, in 5-year cycles. So we're attacking, we're waiting out the truce, we're raiding in between. You don't have to do that. You can truce break all you want against, Francia / the Holy Roman Empire, because the only people that truce breaking, truces with the Christians is going to piss off is Christians. And as you can see here, all of Christianity basically consists of, let's take a look at religions. I mean, it's basically, the Holy Roman Empire, Bavaria, and the Pope at this point. And you've got some guys down here, Slavonia and Serbia and stuff like that. So, I mean, and your only interactions with these guys ever is going to be warfare. You're not going to be having royal marriages with them or alliances or anything like that. So, if that's your thing, if you've got the money, feel free to truce break, because, as you saw in the last war, we pretty much stomped them down to nothing troop-wise, so the next war is going to be easier than the last, and so on and so forth. So you can grab a lot of territory if you want. Obviously, it's going to piss off Christians, so don't put Christians in your council, don't give Christians land, and with Holy War casus belli, you don't have to worry about it because you put in your own guys in all the positions of power. It will probably raise the chances of Christian lands rebelling but rebels are less of a threat than actual nations. So the reason why I'm not doing it is one, you see how from our last round of raiding we got the Viking trait. I want to see if I can boost that all the way up to like, I think it's called like a Sea King or something like that. It gives you a bonus to martial plus all of that, and you basically have the same bonuses you have now, but they get larger and larger. And so it just makes your rule much easier. The other thing is you get a ton of money from raiding, and the idea is we've already maxed out our tribal organization. We've already reformed our religion. All we need to become feudal is to either spend the money to turn, to go into your holding here and upgrade your hill fort up to level 4, a stone hill fort, and you can adopt feudalism. What we're going to do is, obviously, we're going to keep conquering until we do a holy war for Flanders, and then once we conquer this territory, we're going to claim it for ourselves. And since it's it's already got all these holdings here and castles already, we just have to simply make the decision to adopt feudalism. It will put us in a precarious position, however, because right now, we can raise 6,000 guys ourselves, and then our vassals, we can call them in for like another 11,000 or so men, which is awesome. It's a huge army. The downside is that once we adopt feudalism, basically any vassal who's not feudal, we're going to get next to nothing in terms of levies from them. So if you kind of look at the government type here, okay, so you see all this solid stuff. This is all kind of, as we give like from here on away, and in this direction, it's going to be all feudal lands, so our vassals will become feudal lords. But basically from here to this direction, it's all going to be tribal. And since it's the wrong government type, we're not going to be able to call them into war. We're just going to be able to raise a small army from them, and there's going to be a huge penalty to that army because it's the wrong government type. So what I want to do is basically between every war, I want to raid as much as I can, and first order of priority, conquer these guys after we're done with, after we fight these guys. And then I just want to kind of create as many duchies as possible with the money that we make. And then once I've kind of created all the duchies and organized my kingdoms accordingly, I'm going to want to save money. And I'm going to do that because when you take newly conquered lands, especially ones that are of a different religion and different culture, first of all, you're going to have recently conquered penalty. And I think that's like negative 100% levies. So we're going to be completely defenseless in terms of raising our own armies. And since we're switching to feudal, we won't be able to raise many troops in our defense. We'll just have basically like 3 dukes. 3 dukes that'll be able to raise a decent amount of levies. And even after the recently conquered stuff expires, it doesn't take that long for that penalty to expire. There's going to be like a new administration penalty, and that's going to lower our levy amounts too. So I want to save as much money as possible so that, one, I can make upgrades in my holdings, to make more money and to raise more troops. And then 2, I want to have a bunch of money in the bank so that if the 5-year truce is up, because I've never seen the computer ever break a truce, and they attack, I can raise large mercenary armies in my defense. It becomes easier, obviously, the more feudal land you conquer and seed with your own guys, and obviously once we get past that initial penalty. But that's kind of why I'm taking it slow. So now that we've said all that, let's just do some housework before we decide to attack. Let's look at our prisoners, if there's anybody we can ransom. We're gonna ransom this guy. We'll ransom this one. I'll banish this guy. And that's pretty much it. That's all we're going to get from the money front. The other thing we can do is, again, because we are pagans and our rulers are not very good at reading and other stuff, we kind of want to look at our tech. Unfortunately, we can't raise any of our military tech. So I believe the Christians are going to out-attack us militarily. The good news is that we're an absolute beast in combat, and our vassal generals are going to be really good too. So I still think we can do this. Alright, so let's declare war on this guy. We'll do a holy war for Bremen. And again, before you attack, always check to see what they can raise. So this guy can raise a total of 12,000 guys, and we can raise around 16,000. So the numbers are kind of in our favor. Let's go ahead, raise our troops, raise our little vassals here, and call in our allies. And we'll all meet here, and we'll use this guy, and as soon as they start joining up into the war, we'll tell them all to join this guy. All right. Also, let's put our king in charge, because he's got the best marshal. So let's wait till this guy's like movement locked, and we'll go over and engage him. Slow it down a little bit. See here, like at this point I told this guy to cross the river, and that was just a bad idea. Good for her. That's just impressive for a little kid to beat up a guard, you know? It looks like someone died here, our spy master. I'd like to have one more loyal guy, so they're not the best, but better than having someone who hates me be spy master and want to kill me. So let's put a loyal guy on there, and let's give out some minor titles. And again, we'll wait till this guy's movement locked, and we'll take the fight. One of the good things about our king is that he does have the organization trait, organizer trait, so he moves a lot faster. So we should be able to get like a defensive. Well, I guess not. Yes, we. All right. Well, we were able to join that other army, so we have the defensive buff here. Man, they're doing some damage to us. Just take some organization. That'll probably help us in the fights. Let's flee. I don't know why our allies kind of abandoned us. That's kind of annoying. Well, this war's not going very well. Oh, I still have to go around and edit it down. So that's I'm planning on kind of doing it this weekend in the mornings. So I don't know. I should have a couple episodes up on YouTube. By like tomorrow afternoon and the next afternoon after that. And it's going to be a series. Sorry, I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. Yeah, it's going to be a series, but basically I have no discipline. So, sometimes the episodes are like an hour long. Sometimes they're like 2-hour marathons. I try to keep it I try to keep it within distance, but I have problems sometimes stopping, if I'm on a roll. I'm getting my butt kicked in this war here. Oh well. What I think I'm going to do is camp out here in Salem and let them come to me so they get the massive penalties for attacking here. I mean, the problem is that they're down here sieging my capital. Can I do a white piece? No, I can't. My last one, I took Holstein, or Schleswig, or whatever you call it. What's this called? Holstein. No problem. But this time, they just, I don't know what happened, man. They just started kicking my butt. I should have fled earlier. Oh well. Let's see if we can catch some of these smaller armies. What do I need? I need better diplomacy. Alright, that's not bad. Problem is, this is like combined. These guys can take me out. Let's make a stand here in Sayland. And let's see if we can... it's too bad these guys are all up here. Yeah, I mean, Paranoid is better than Trusting, but my diplomacy skill's so low, I was like, well, it doesn't matter, I didn't get it. But I was like, I should probably try to juice it up so I can get more vassals. Alright. Cross your fingers, guys. No, they're kicking my butts. Even with that penalty. I wonder why that is. Yeah, I mean, look at that. They're just like chewing through me. Oh well, at least I was on the offensive, so I'm just gonna lose a bunch of prestige and moral authority and money. Let's see if I can flee. We're gonna besiege Paris. I'll take kind. I just wonder. I like outnumbered them, and I have like amazing generals here. Like until she died, I think it's technology that I'm behind. Is that it? I don't know about that, boss. I mean, all I'm gonna do is lose prestige, moral authority, and some money. I'm okay with that. Let's surrender. Man, that was brutal. That was so brutal. Alright, I think I even have to disband my retinues. I'm 40 ducats in debt. Yeah, that would have been awesome, right? Like the Hail Mary of combat situations. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait till we get out of debt. Then we're gonna raise our armies. It'll also give us time for armies to come back, because we only have 800 men left. And our vassals are completely tapped out too. I hope no one else decides it's a good time to attack me. Luckily, all our neighbors are pretty weak. So we'll wait for the money to come back. Probably should have surrendered sooner. When I basically lost that first battle, especially the second one, I should have just completely surrendered. So know when you're beat, but we'll get that money back, and as soon as we do that, we'll start going raiding again. Or if we get enough men back, we'll just start raiding right away. Yeah, or Holy War into here. The next one, I just want to kind of finish off this guy in Heidelmark. So I don't like this one because I think you can become an alcoholic, but let's give it a shot. I just don't want to be a drunkard. We can do a legendary gathering, but we don't have a male heir. I don't want to die in that, and we're still pretty young. He's old Germanic faith, so he's not going to accept vassalization. Also, would you accept vassalization from a guy who got his ass kicked that quickly? I don't know, boss, no. What I should have done is, after I won that last war, I should have just kept treaty breaking until I cut him down to size, you know? It's something I could have done as well. I was hoping to save up some money, you know, get the Viking trait, all that kind of stuff. Look at it. These guys like me now that I had this tremendous defeat, whereas before they hated me. Unbelievable. I'll never understand these AI guys. Alright, we'll put our guy to train troops. It's too bad this guy can't organize raids. We'll leave it as is. I think maybe we should also... No, he's not that good at spying, so we'll just leave him at home to scheme. And let's take a look at how our conversions are going. He's still working on it. Now, hopefully, while we're so far in debt... what do you mean? Hopefully, while we're so far in debt, we won't get a lot of bad events for our counties. But we'll see. Oh yeah, I suppose that's true. I was just saying that was a really disastrous battle. All right, Viking Age has started. So what this means now, I believe, is that we've got shipbuilders everywhere, and we will have ships built. I guess not everywhere. Yeah, oh, that's looking pretty good. So let's go on speed 4 a little bit. So we can raise up to 120 boats. That's very good. Make it historic and everything. I actually already did a bunch of raids into England, but I guess it didn't count because it wasn't the year 800. Where is it? Up here? There it is. So for some reason we lost a bunch of boats. I think maybe it's because our county was captured. I'm not 100% sure on that. If you know why, let me know. Alright, so we're out of wards actually, so why don't we start assigning ourselves as our daughter's guardians. Hopefully some of our martial skill will rub off on them, and we can turn them into shield maidens. And we're just kind of waiting for our troops to come back and waiting for our ships to build up. Yeah, you get stressed, not me. No, no divine marriages. Alright, so let's give her a struggle as her background. Again, we want to turn these girls into shield maidens. Yeah, no, it's definitely a killer game. Alright, so we are no longer in debt. That's a very good thing. So we might want to save just a little bit more money. Oh, excellent. We converted one of our provinces. So you remember how I was agonizing about being married to the wrong religion lady who was super pious? Turns out all I had to do was... Oh, by the way, hiya, Diamondberg, by the way. Thanks for hanging out. Turns out all I had to do was just divorce her when when my dad died, so that was pretty easy. So we're just saving a little bit of money. I think we'll do like just a quick war, a holy war against this guy, and then we'll go off raiding. I think like maybe once we have like 30 gold in the bank, we'll go ahead and do that. Also, let's just see if we can banish or imprison. Look at that. Oh, we're definitely banishing this guy. Look at that. Money problem solved. But he's a different country, so if he dies, his heir will take over. But if I invade, then I get to keep it. So he can raise 648 dudes. Nice. You know, I've actually never even done any of like the pagan African Mali kind of stuff. Alright, so let's declare a holy war on this guy. And I'll raise my armies. Call in my allies. Come on, guys. I really need this easy win. Who the hell is this asshole? Oh. I didn't even look in my events. Oh well. You know, though, you laugh, Blussno, but the last time I was ahead by, like, several thousand men, I got my butt handed to me. Alright. Let's hope it's his son, huh? Alright, are any of these capital duchies? That's a capital of a duchy. Sorry, I'm trying to move this text around so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we'll give Gruder Gruppen to, not this guy, because he's an heir. Not to the envious or ambitious guys. We'll give him Heidemark, because that's the duchy capital. And we'll give that to that guy. Alright, we'll give it a day. Get rid of our troops. And we do have the money to go raiding, and we have just enough boats to cover our men, so let's go ahead and do that, huh? Just have them all meet here. That guy up. What's wrong with your counts? Or your councils? In fact, probably the best thing to do is we'll just have them all meet up in Skagen. You know, I tried playing Imperator, and just wasn't a fan of it. I couldn't get into it. I heard it's gotten better, though. They did, like, a bunch of, like, free updates and whatnot. Alright, so where are we going to go raiding? Let's take a look at who's got the money. Also, we got a mission to raid as well, so let's take a look at what our mission is. We can definitely raid that place. Let's go there first. Now, I guess if you want to be like really efficient, you can split your armies up into multiple raiding parties. And just loot like top level. Don't bother with you know, burning down holdings. But if you burn down holdings, you have a chance of getting those Viking perks, so to speak. So let's see if we can't do that. Yeah, let's challenge this guy. He's a kid. What's he doing leading a mercenary band? Alright, so we got a couple more raiders here. Since we've already burnt down the top level holding, we'll just burn down these. Alright, excellent. So we finally have a son. He's a Scorpio. Very nice. And because I don't want to deal with succession crisis, it's time to divorce the wife. We do need a wife, though, but what we can do now is just go out, search all, search for my religion and culture woman, rather my religion, and we're going to look for someone who's old and who we don't have to worry about having children with. So we're kind of limited here. We've only got two options. I don't know if I want to marry someone who has a great pox, but I think 45 is too old to be bearing children. Let's go ahead and marry her. They weren't so progressive back then, you know? Looks like we can usurp the Duchy of Holstein, so let's do that. And since we've usurped Holstein, and these guys... okay, so... no. See, the bummer is that this guy, you know, he's the one I kind of want to screw around with. So, I'm kind of over my limit. Has the marriage happened? Yeah, so I'll just give away Holstein, and that guy will be a duke. Just gotta find the right guy. Alright, you're the man for the job. You get Holstein. And you get the Jarldom of Holstein. We need a new court physician. Oh, we're just really starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel in terms of talent here. Okay, so since we're already here, let's just burn it all down. Oh, dude, that's my ex-wife. I think that's my ex-wife. Yeah, divorced. Well, you know. You know what else I could have done during that war? And I wasn't paying attention to it. But we're the head of our society. So we could have done like a call to glory during that war. Or which is the one where you can, I think that's the one, right? Yeah, you get reinforcements from your warrior lodges and everything like that. Oh, I played that real poorly. Alright. That's okay, though. We'll know for this next war coming up. Right? When you fall off the horse, you just gotta get back on again. Well, he's up to 14,000 dudes. Who can I raise? Like 16, 17,000. I still like those odds, right? Of course, then you have to think about all these other Catholic nations coming in. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. So we've got plenty of people who like us. Let's just pick the best guy for the job to be steward. Congratulations, buddy. And one of my children's lacking in education focus. Unfortunately, she's timid. So she'd do better as like a diplomat or learning education. Let's give her a diplomatic education. Alright, so we burnt all that down. We're getting there in terms of loot. We'll just wait till that torch turns red. And now Ghent looks pretty nice. They'll probably be able to raise up an army in defense. Okay, so unfortunately our army is too large because we got those event troops. So let's leave those behind. I don't know what to do with these guys. I'll just have them hang out for here for now. And then once we see that they've got like kind of a decent sized army, we'll just run away. Or if we run out of loot, that's the other option. So, we've run out of looting, but we've almost taken this castle, so we might as well just stay, see if we can loot the whole province entirely. Alright, getting a bunch of nice Christian artifacts. Don't know how that'll help me. Alright, so it looks like they're coming to attack us. Let's get out of here. That was a nice raid, though. Let's see who else has money. Nearby, at least. Unfortunately, since we reformed and we didn't pick, like, the ability to raid in rivers, we can no longer use rivers, so that's a bummer. But, it looks like, you know, here in Middlesex is pretty rich, so let's go to Middlesex. And actually, it's good news because we can send these guys in to reinforce. And we won't burn down this last castle, but we will burn down the town and church because they probably have a lot of money. And that should fill up our boat with loot. Again, this isn't like the most efficient way, but I want to burn down holdings so I can upgrade my Viking traits. Yeah, I think this last holding, when we burn it down, we should be able to top off our loot. So basically I'm waiting until this torch turns red, and then I'll get out of here. So we can take a little bit more. Unfortunately, this guy's going to Wessex. That was going to be like my next target. We could go into Essex, but there's troops there already. So why don't we just pile on and we'll go to like Lindsay. We can speed up time a little bit. I don't think these guys are going to mount much of a defense. We've almost like broken through, so we might as well just burn down the holdings. Alright, I say we stay till we fill up our loot bar completely. It also looks like we can ransom some of these guys. Alright, we're full up, so let's get out of here. And let's come home. Unfortunately, we're still not kind of like full up on our own levies, and it doesn't look like our vassals are either, really. So we probably, even though the truce is coming up, we probably shouldn't attack the Emperor. Also, last time we didn't go well, so a smarter thing to do would probably be to just continue conquering up here and just vassalizing these guys. So I think that might be what I'll do. It's the right move to do. On the same token, man, I just don't know how we lost that last war. I don't know if it's technology or what, but you know, we had a sizably larger army. We were winning for a long time, and then all of a sudden, things just fell apart. I don't know what it was. So I think I'm gonna put a pin in it right here for tonight. I do have to start editing some of these videos down. And then I'm gonna make the decision as to whether or not well, what we're gonna do next. Should we keep raiding, get a bunch of money, maybe hire some mercenary armies? The other thing that I failed to do was, I'm the hero of the lodge, so I could have used my abilities to like what do you call it? To do a call to glory. Did not do that. And that probably would have helped me out a lot in last war. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, is what I'm trying to say. But if you've been watching, hope you had a fun time. I'll try to stream again on my usual times this weekend, so like between 3 and 6. But have a good night otherwise, and I'll see you guys around.